Hey guys, so this is going to be a short video on how to incorporate my Great Pyramid monument onto your existing map. This will require just a little bit of work on your own end. However, it's pretty easy once I show you how to um, add it in as easily as possible. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and, assuming you've already dragged the pyramid in your Custom Prefabs folder, go ahead and open up your prefabs list up in the top right. And then you're going to open up or select the highest level of the pyramid that you have. You will have the most up-to-date download. Once you have it, you just double tap. Wait just a moment, depending on your PC, because it might take just a moment to load in. Whenever you first spawn it will spawn in underneath the terrain. That's totally normal. It's just accounting for the height of the pyramid. So one of the things that I like to do is when spawning in my pyramid, you base the height of it where the rock cliffs, such as right here in front of the doorway that I just buried under the ground, make it about as level as possible with the terrain, but just a little bit over, just a little bit higher than the actual terrain on your map. Once you do that, you're good to start applying some of the masks. So the first one I like to apply is the height mask, which actually gives you the pyramid itself. However, as you can tell, it does not have the opening for it, which is another thing I'll have to go over right quick. But now we at least have the pyramid. Now the terrain on the edge will have a ring. That's just how the prefab works. You will want to go around and maybe smoothen it out just a little bit to where it blends in a little bit better with your current environment. To do that, you can use the terrain tool just by selecting, let's say, smoothen. You select the brush size. It'll smoothen it out a little bit to where it's not as circular. And if you wanted to make it a little bit more randomized, what you can do is get the raise and lower tool and then select one of these randomized splat pieces. And then you can just kind of go around the edge like this, just ever so gently. It looks pretty crazy right now, but if you go back and then select the smoothen tool, it'll smoothen it out. And then you don't have that round effect like you do over here. It's pretty randomized. So that's just an easy way of making it blend in a little bit better. Now the next thing I'd like to go over, continuing with the placement of the prefab itself. So you just applied the height mask. The next mask you can apply, there's no particular order on these. However, the only one I do suggest doing first is the height mask, is you can go ahead and do the alpha mask. Now one thing that RustEdit kind of has a limitation on is saving alpha masks accurately. So this part you will have to paint on the doorway just a little bit. Super easy to do that. You go to the terrain painter in the top right, select alpha, and then paintbrush. And preferably I'd like to use the size 1 brush because it's just easy to work with. Then you're going to go around the door and you're just going to paint anywhere where it's not quite lined up with the current door paneling itself. So you can just paint right there. And if you have some corners like that, don't worry. I'll show you how to fix that here in just a moment. But we just want to make sure we got everything for the most part, a hole for the player to actually enter in the pyramid. Now to fix those little things, you can just click on the prefab itself. You kind of have to get at a weird angle so you can see see where your arrows are. You just want to pull it out just a little bit, like that. So now you painted on the door and you pulled it out just a little bit, and most of all the holes are covered up. To fix any minor ones, you can just use the terrain tool and you can use the raise and lower brush make it really small with the opacity of 1, and you can just raise or lower as you need. So um, that'll cover that up. So that's how you do the door. Going back to the prefab, you just applied the height and you just applied the alpha. Next one you can do is the splat. Now the splat doesn't do a whole lot of noticeable differences. The only reason that is here is if you were to place my pyramid in a biome such as a grassy one. Um, so it would look like grass until you applied my splat mask. The next one is topology mask. You do want to make sure you select that just because if you place my pyramid depending on the area of your map where you put it, if there's any barrel spawns or loot spawns or anything where there's going to be trees, they'll automatically be placed on the pyramid if you do not apply the topology mask. So that just makes it to where the pyramid stays nice and clean, basically. So that's how you apply my pyramid to your server. Again, you'll want to go around the edges and just smoothen and use the brush tools to deplete the round circle around there, kind of like I did just a moment ago here. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them in my Discord, which I will link below. Thank you very much.